Hi everyone, this is day 19 of the 60-day series where we break down the 5 layers of AI and we throw away the fluff and the whole hype about AI. Just focus on the core aspect of really matters and how you can get this skill and make use of this skill effectively. So what I'm going to talk about today is iterators and arrays. Now I remember we're working on that's triggers and actions. We learned that when a trigger fires, it's going to fire one event at a time, and most of the time one event brings a particular bundle. But there are cases where we might be faced with processing about probably a list of 50 leads, for example, at once, because we can assume that the businesses that we're going to be working with have a lot of data to process at the same time. So in cases like this, we need to have tools already for this on make.com. And when you see this on make.com, rather than having something crammed together in a single bundle, we have a way to split them and a way to also merge them back as well. So this way is what we call Iterators and Aggregators. Okay, so we have a resource guide here now, and basically the example I'm going to use, I'm going to continue on our lead tracker, that's our digital receptionist, and I'll show you around what the previous day that could also relate to it. Now I remember we made a mistake the previous day, and this is one of the perfect examples I could use. So I'm going to make use of a mistake and turn it to something very good. So one of the mistakes we did in the past when we were using search objects was that it gave us multiple bundles because our fallback was actually giving us new leads inside. Now if you don't understand what all this, watch the previous videos, and if this is your first time seeing this, it's best to just start from day one, and I'm pretty sure in no time you're going to catch up. So basically our mistake made me realize there's something we can bring out from this, which is when it created multiple leads for us, I had to do the mistake again, and so you can see this, we have multiple leads at once, and yeah, this is quite good. So we're going to use this, but this time around let's just unlink it, since what we want to do is to just test. I want to explain how this works very well. So rather than filter, which is based on the unique identifier, what we're going to do this time around, we're going to use the name. Where is the name? We're going to use the name. Now, and the name we're going to use should be equal to Daniel. Of course, to Daniel. We call it that, or just tag that directly. We just tag it directly actually, but we can still use this as well. It's still the same thing. So yes, so it's equals to Daniel. Why? Because we do Daniel 1, 2, 3, 4. Though they're unique identifiers, before the previous one, I used it. I actually split them. There's Dave, there's Danny, and there is Daniel himself. We are choosing a new unique identifier, which is this, but we're going to call all this at the same time rather than splitting it in the first place. We're going to call this at the same time. So let's see. Sorry, I shouldn't have come here. Yes. So we have a limit of 10, meaning it could search about 10 Daniels and give us once. So basically that is what we're doing. And before then, I think I have something left I've not done, so I should probably do it in a few minutes now. Alright, so I'm done. I don't want to take too much of your time, so I had to do all this and I reset everything back to normal. And I have this now, I've published it, so what I need to do is to share, and we have a link we could use. Alright, so we have our form once again. We have our form and we have this, okay. So actually it saved the data we were working on previously. So we could let's use Daniel's name once again. That's Daniel and D. Alright, so and I think we have one for this. And which one did we use for Daniel? This. And I think I should just probably put from here and use this once again. Alright, this is good. This is good. It's actually better. We could go right here. So we're going to send this now. Let's just run this. Let's run this. Let's go and fill this together. Okay, so we have this already in place, so we can just send it. And yes, let's go here. So we have this, and you can see, okay, so we have a punch bundle. Yeah, we have 2 bundles and 3 bundles, 4 bundles, and yes, how do we confirm? How many Daniels do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4 Daniels. Yes, that's why. So we have 4 bundles. We use a unique identifier, which is the name the time around, which is the name this time around, and that was what gave us this output of 4. We have a limit of actually getting 10 at once. Now this bundle put together is what we call an array. To put all this together, it is an array. So how do we ensure in cases like this, how do we process this type of data? All this while what we've been handling just one bundle, having to receive one lead, having to get this particular input from a customer, this customer tickets, and every single thing is just one. We'll be handling one all this while. So which case do we actually make use of this? I've explained every single thing in this here, where I also pointed out there what I've noticed all through these clients automations. Now what we did just now, this is an example of what we did. So the results we got a bunch of data, record 1, record 2, record 3, which is an example of what we have here as well. So in this case, what I've noticed all this while is when it comes to tally submission, most of the time it's just one bundle per submission. So do we need an iterator or an aggregator later on? No, we don't. So when it comes to using a Google form, when we're using a Google form for this form submission, it's mostly one bundle per response. Notion search, one bundle, which is why we have. So that was what we did. We had to do that in real time, so you guys get to see how this works. And you can see we have that. Yes. So when we use Google Sheet as well, search rows, we also get one bundle with array, and that is yes. And this as well. Now this is the thing about this. Each one also is possible for it to have multiple details inside that we need to process at once as well, which are all this that we see here. We might need to process a bunch of things together. We might need to process a bunch of things at once. But the main idea and what I wanted to know is, you can see we need to process 4 at once. So how do we do this? That is the next thing. When it comes to Airtable as well, multiple bundles, but usually we don't need an iterator. For HTTP response, yes, because there are many times that you might actually get a bunch of data at once, like 10s and 20s, even as much as 100 as well. So what is an iterator? An iterator basically takes one bundle containing a list and it splits it into individual bundles. That is what an iterator does. So it basically takes one list, splits it into different bundles. So what we are going to split it into different bundles. An aggregator, which I'll be mentioning on this one, takes multiple individual bundles and combines them back together into one. So this lets you process, if you need this kind of tool, it lets you process at least a list of 50 records at the same time and also reassemble the results into a single output. An example of what this does, you can liken this, the example I gave here, where I mentioned that you can imagine this scenario runs every Monday by 8 a.m. where it's going to send the founder a list of email listing every new leads from the past week with one sentence AI summary per lead. So what this is doing is basically, in most cases, it's combined probably a lot of details that you've not handled and send them to you at once in a summary. Now another example which I actually love a lot is that from make.com itself. Now I checked the help center of make.com and I discovered that they even explained very well on an aggregator, and they give an example as well. Though we are dealing with two things this time around, we're dealing with iterators and aggregators. But I love the example that they used here, where they said, imagine your marketing team adds about US prospects in a single day. Your sales manager could quickly become overwhelmed with a flood of individual mobile notifications. True, every single time you get a lead in, it will notify you. Now imagine you are getting about 50 leads a day, or probably 100 leads a day. Your phone will probably keep buzzing every single time. So how do we ensure it can give us every single thing and send it to us at once, so we can go over it? As a sales manager, you can assume a bunch of people have done, probably you have a bunch of cold callers and they've handled all of them, and you need to look over every single data. You need to read the transcript, you need to look through all this to see where else you can improve. This is a situation where probably in a time, you can set a time in a day where you get every single thing at once, and what it gets sent to you. This is an example. So it's going to make the information more manageable while still ensuring timely alerts as well. So what we have here is just an explanation how to add a module and pump in your text aggregator and everything inside. So we're going to do this live, where I show you how to manipulate this data with an iterator and aggregators as well. So let's start with an iterator. What is an iterator? What it does? It takes one bundle containing an array multiple individual bundles. So one per item, and every motor the iterator runs once per bundle. Now to show you an example of what this, I already sent a particular lead. So I'm going to show you how this works. So you know, when we sent this, we had 4 outputs, which is bundle 1, bundle 2, bundle 3, and bundle 4 here. So you can see this 4. How do we process each one? Though we were able to get 4, how do we process each one each time, and how do we split it into individual bundles instead? So what we do is you click on the plus and you look for an iterator. Okay, sorry, yeah, that's it. So this is an iterator. An iterator just shows you one, just something as simple as this. So what you have to do is to add an item, or rather than this, I would say you click on the map. So when we look at it, we see this, and the way we walk around this is very simple actually. You can see the total number of bundles we have. You can see the total number of bundles we have, and that is 4. This is what we're mapping. This is basically our array, because this takes every single thing inside. This is bundle order position 1. This is the first one in all the 4. So this is basically what an array does. And let's run this again and see what happens. You are using the data generated by. I'm not using the data generated by this model. Let's just see what's up from this. Okay, I think there's something wrong. Did I use the wrong one? Okay, let's see. If I'm wrong, we'll run this again. Yes, so we have this in, and what you see here is 4. So we've been able to basically split the array into 4. This is value 4. We have, okay, this is input, and this is output, value 4. Okay, I think I do understand what went wrong now. These are in 1 do order position. Alright, let me see. Alright, so we have this in. So you need to be aware that what I used was this. You're using the Notion search object bundle, and when you have that in and you run this, it's going to give you the entire thing here. So what we have here is the array. This is basically the array. What I did initially was in the total number of bundles. This is just taking the number. This is not taking the details. This is not taking each state inside. So what we have here is what the bundle itself, what you are meant to pass into this. So you have this, so that is what you just basically have to pass into. So yes, it's as simple as that, and you can see that it has split into 4. So we're able to use these 4 separately, and this is how we're able to use each one and do any other thing we want to do. So in a case where I can say we might want to use this, can be, let me say, a situation where we have to process each one through an AI to understand what they are doing and every single thing, and from there we take in the details, we put it somewhere else. The way it looks like from what I just said is having something like this. Let's put graph here, let's use this, then we pass this in. I think I have this. Oh my god, every single thing I did here already matched together. So, and we put every single one of them, we process it using some, whatever details we want to do here. And this is a case where we can analyze each customer coming from the array. This is an example. This is not basically what we're meant to use. But since the fact that we made a mistake here, I feel like it's probably one of the best ways to explain to you guys. So what we can do is we process each of them. An example of when we might need something like this might be the ones I've given out there, where sales manager needs to take every customer, the code and everything that the code caller probably had, the code callers have had that day, and he bundles everything together from the database. Probably the unique identifier that person will use on their database or their CRM might have to be something like, if it's the dates that the person uses, it's going to be something like this. So we assume this is the CRM, this is the first thing we get in. What we get is, we're going to pick like the dates. Do we have the dates here? Dates added equals, you can look for something like equals today. So set dates, set day, to be set day, and we use now. So it could take that same day and to bring it in. That is basically how I could probably use it. So when it comes to something like this, you could see that we have a whole bunch of what did we map here? I think we mapped Daniel, right? We mapped Daniel. So let's go back again and the name. Alright, so we're back here once again. So we could do something like this and we want to process each of them. And this sales manager could ask someone prompt and give it a couple of instructions. I want a summary. Let's use versatile. I want a summary of this call. I mean, this person could prompt anything, and I want you to call the code caller and also look into key points and states of the call to point out where things could have been better. Now, what I'm thinking and what is coming to my head right now is a situation where, for example, this person probably every other call went through and converted, and there are some calls that did not. Now Now this is a case where this person probably in their CRM they've been able to they have something like this where they give it a status. An example of the status can be giving it we have new lead qualified and closed. Let's assume if we have not interested. So if we have something like this, whichever status the CRM or the database is like this will be the one to pass into this. So that can be the condition case as well. And there are cases where we can do this. An example of what I'm saying is we can pick this, the one we picked the other time. I think we used dates and we set some other things here. I think we set day, that's day we use now. And they can use an and rule. And rule here means we could decide, okay, what we're going to pick, the status we're going to pick here is for someone equals not interested. Status equals not interested. So in this case, you can try to imagine, rather than picking of today, we want to see those people that said not interested, what's really happened. So in this case, it's going to pick in those people that picked not interested. It's going to pass them through the iterator, since it has gotten, like, let me say, out of 100 to convert about 40, and they have interested. For example, if it's a bad day, I mean, that is also still good. That's good metrics if you are code calling. Anyway, so you pass this through and it gives you something, a bundle like this, an array like this that have multiple bundles, and you split each of them and you tell it to do this for you. I mean, when you reason things like this, you get to see that we have this, we have total number of bundles, we have every single one of them here. So every single one, now what is coming out from this is basically going to be sending each one of them outside. That is what this is going to be doing. It's going to be sending each one of them outside. So we have bundle 1, bundle 2 like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick the bundle order position. We're going to pick this. It's going to take every single thing down there and it's going to send it out. Where is it going to send this? It could send this to, an example can be Telegram. Send this to Telegram. To send this to Telegram, probably the sales manager uses Telegram or his email. So either of this is just a brief example and an analogy of how this could actually play out. So I think I use another example here. And so we've talked about this. Now the next thing I'm going to talk about is the array. So you could assume a situation where we have something like this and we want to bundle everything back. Now one thing you need to know is I've splitted every single one of them here. So as they keep coming here and it's processing them, if we are going to connect to Telegram, which I said, or their email, or the sales manager's email, one thing you need to know is going to send each one of them. It's going to send each one of them. And that will be a lot for us, because it's sending each one of them, the sales manager has to go through one every single time. Now what is going to happen, rather than we sending it, is we're going to space this out, and we're going to add what I call an array into this. So we're going to add a module, and we're going to say array aggregator. We're going to add an array aggregator. Now I need you to know, right before jumping into array aggregator, that we have 4 types of, we have array aggregator, text, table, and what's the last one again? And numeric aggregator. So we have these 4. And to show you how they look like, this is an array aggregator, and this is what it does. Now what is going to do, what this array aggregator is going to do basically, is it's going to take each one, it's going to process each one, send them. So in this case, we could see that we could take the source module. This is how it looks like. You could pick where exactly are you taking this aggregator, these splitted bundles from. Are you taking this from the Iterator, which is this? Are you taking this from Grok itself? But in this case, we're not going to use even an array aggregator. We need a text aggregator. That is what we need. So I'm going to show you how they look like and how we get them easily. Is just type text and type aggregator, and you see multiple under. So you can see numeric aggregator, table, and text aggregator here. So the one we are going to use right now, talk about the text aggregator. This is how it looks like. I will put it right here. So let's have this up. Let's unlink this. Link this. Alright, so we have this here now. Shouldn't have linked. You shouldn't have linked. Okay, put it down here. Alright, so what we have here now, as you can see this, we could pick from Grok and tell it you should get the results. Oh, results in bundle. Every single thing. So you can see what happened just now. You can see it's what happened here, and how I interpret it basically is it's turning these two, because this is the first time we're seeing this happen, right? It's turning these two, the both of them, into one particular. That is how I see it. Though we still have visually 2 modules, I see it as one module together. So what's up here is it's going to bring out the whole bundle at once, rather than having to. So once everything processes here, it's going to send every single thing here and it's going to what make it just one bundle. That is what is going on here. And with this, we've used our text aggregator, and we can now pass it to Telegram or probably through Gmail or any one of them, and send it at once. Now, an example of how we send it is this. You can see the text. It's as simple as this. You could send it as text and say, here are the leads that didn't convert and reasons analytics on why. So you can see all this, going to put them into one and going to send it at once. So with this, we can see how we get to use an array and an aggregator. So this is for text aggregator, which I have here. You can read through all this. They are not some crazy examples or anything. You can read through all this. So we have the first one as text, combines every single one of them. The example I put here basically is this. As we see it, Amaka, that's the alt, warm, and the code. In a situation where we are trying to bundle all of them at once, we have this. This is the output. This is how it looks like. This is what comes out once we have every single thing in place. But before it comes out, we need to do some things as well. Since we don't have the best example, we could still do it as well. We could do this. We could do this. Just put together these leads. Put together these leads for me in summary with all their names, email, and message. Okay, so we have this. We could run this and see what happens. And the next thing we need, you know what? Let me unlink this. Let's unlink this, and let's just stop here. We'll view every single one of them here. So once again, I need you to see that we have 4 different an array, and every single one of them will be processed by Grok and sent over to text here, where we will see the results over here. So let's just do everything at once. Notion, save. Okay, I think I have something else I've not done here. And this, no, we could just leave this. We could leave it as the name, since we want this fast. Leave it as the name, and let's mark the name, which is Daniel. Alright, thank you very much. So we have this together once again. 2. So yes, I think what is going on here now is the 2. Consider removing it and add another module after. Yes. So you are not using the data generated like this. Yes. So it wants us to connect something else to it, and we could. Let me connect without sending it to my own email again. That is crazy. So let's just leave it that way. Let's run this once again and see what happens. So we're running this, and it should start right about now. 2, 3. So you can see what happened just now. The 4 of them got processed at once here before they got sent here. So what happened just now is this got broken down into 4, and it takes all this, and what you are able to send them here, and it cuts this at once. Now what we have here, you could see them live and see what happens. Output text. I don't see leads provided. Please provide leads. Well, we basically are not adding any leads, to be honest. So that is what is here, and that is what is showing here, and that's what is showing here as well. Okay, so yeah, I think we have something good now. However, there's something else we need to work on. What we're meant to work on is, alright, so that's how we work around that. So to make you understand better, let's see. So here is the thing. You have to click this advanced settings, then you click on new row and start processing this. Now the thing about in the first place, we've shown the fact that we want it to give us every single detail at once, right? Now the thing about this is not going to give us this and break it down into 4. Take an example now of when this is probably the best case. If what we wanted was take the results, and we wanted to know the token breakdown, we wanted to know the completion time and every other details that we needed, and every other detail that we needed. These are the things that we just add one, provided one, and we want the second one, which is, let's say it was created by the total token used, the prompt time, every single thing. This is what will be passed into this. So with all this in place, we could make a separator by just using something like this. We could use a comma. We could also use this to break it down into the next phase. We could use this as well. So these are separators that we could use. I think I added that here as well. Yes, I did have that here. This. So with all this in place, these are the things that we'll just send to ourselves. So let's do it once again. And let's just save this. Let's save this and run again. So we could have this go, and let's see what's up. Yes. We have them in now. So we could assume a situation where we have all the details. It's going to pass every single detail and it's going to bring them here at once. Now what we're going to see the results. We're going to also see, you can see this, we're going to also see the token usage. Where's the token usage here? Okay, I did not include that in the AI itself. Did I include that in the AI? No, all I included here was here. Yes, I included them here. That is why it came out that way. So I could have included them here as well. But this is all good. This is all good. So the results we're going to get back. Let's see if we can get them in custom location. Let's see. So I've connected my Telegram already, and I remember also teaching how to do that. So you should be able to do that and test run it yourself. So let's see what's up. This is good. This is fair. So if we run this, it's going to land in my Telegram. However, I don't have my Telegram connected here. After checking it, I don't have it connected here. So I'll have to skip that right now. But basically, all we have here, we have Numeric and we have a table aggregator as well. Now to explain these two, we have seen them here. All you need to do is type text and agree, and we're going to see a bunch of tools where we can select each one of them. This is how a table aggregator looks like. Also almost the same. If you connect it, it's going to take the aggregated field as well. It's going to take this. Okay, let's use this for example. So it's going to take this, and we're also going to pick the source module, which is meant to be the one in front. We pick the source module, aggregated field. Let's pick this, but it's not continuing. So you can see every single thing. So here you could pick out the fields that you want. I want results, I want ID, I want object, I want created, or something like this. Now the case that we have here, this one, what we use this for is different from what we use this for. This is for tables. So you can see the aggregated field is going to pack every single thing and give it to us. The third one, or should I see the fourth one now, is that one was for table, and the other one here is numeric. This is numeric. Now the way this works is quite different from how the table aggregator works. Numeric performs a single math operation across a numeric field on multiple bundles. So the operations available here are sum, average. This is just basically what this does is, for an example now, okay, use for total revenue for this week, average this score. This is just based on numbers to be able to bring all these kind of things together. This is mainly for numbers. So what we use for this, for the array, is for building JSON payloads for APIs, creating data structures to pass to another module, preparing a list to insert into a spreadsheet, for example. As for this aggregator, for weekly reports, email bodies, Slack messages, Notion page contents, Telegram, and the rest. So you can see the different cases. Though I did not add a table aggregator here, so I've not really used a table aggregator much. That's why I didn't add it here. But these are just basically just different tools. Most of the time, this is the one I use for most of the things I'm working on. This one I use except for a few times where I have to use a text aggregator itself. So you can see the different cases where this can come up. And here is a full thing. I will show an example where I also use the add days, now, and every single thing here. These are functions. I believe I should probably make a video about functions soon. So you should probably get something like that. And we used an iterator to split the lead record, which we did. And this. So what I want you to do for me is, once you get to this point, I want you to do the same build I have here. I want you to do a weekly lead digest by yourself. Build this out. Add a Notion search from your database, like the lead tracker. So you add it, and you're going to use the iterator. You're going to add an AI right in between, and going to pass every single thing to a text aggregator. So these are the things I want you to put together. And finally, you're going to connect your model, which is the Gmail, and we'll put all these things together and see how that comes. So I'm going to be expecting this on the community. So you can take a screenshot, put this together. Let's see what's up. Let's see how you got them, and let's see your results basically. So that's for today's task. And if you enjoyed this video, I hope you have been enjoying the previous videos so far. So I have to put this together real quick because I figured out that this is one of the things that we need to address as soon as possible, so you guys get to understand what Iterator is and what an aggregator is and how to actually work around this. These are just basic tools that you might have to use often. When I actually started using this, I didn't understand how to work around it, so it was foreign to me. But one thing I noticed is that it was helping me very well to handle data. So I was basically handling data like a professional. Because this time around, I didn't have to do it one by one, or have to get one input before I get one output. I could have a list together and process it at once, and even break it down and everything at once at the end of the day. So this just makes things easier and faster for you. And if you're using this for your business, I'm pretty sure this will come in handy as well. So alright, so I'm done with this, and I hope you guys understand it. If you have any question concerning this, or you need to understand something else, or you want me to create a video particularly for a particular topic or an aspect or something you just did not understand, you can drop it in the comments. Sure, I'm going to check on it, and I'll be able to come up with something to answer every single one. I can even assume I'm going to probably answer every single one of the comments, and maybe if I have to also make videos for each one of them. Yes, it's going to be a lot, but it's something I should be able to do. So it's going to be probably a video of just few minutes I can put together, or probably take all the comments and I'll just answer them at once in a video. So alright, so I hope that was helpful today. That is day 19, and we're going to see on day 20. Yeah, so have a nice one. Alright.